monks, and somebody just asked me, is this all natural? This is all a lot of hard work by the monks. They've collected some sacred plants and trees from all over the world for 40 years. If you hike, and I've hiked all these mountains, you will find you can barely pass through a lot of areas on this island. It's how wild guava, albizia forest, I mean it's very invasive. We never get frost, it never stops growing, so they work constantly collecting all these sacred plants and trees, cultivating them. How they do it, I don't know, because there's only a handful of monks and they're committed almost all day to their duties. Now, today's Thursday. We almost never give tours on Thursday because it's the day the gardeners are here. We have just one little crew that comes every Thursday to try to help the monks. So we're going to run into a little bit of static, a little bit of noise down by the temple. We'll just bear with it. Takes a little bit of the experience away, this sanidhya, this. Anytime you have an enlightened master or monks doing constant meditation and sadhana, there's this permeating force that you can sense. And somehow a weed whacker spoils a little bit of it, but it's still there. So they grow 75, I'd say 75 to 80% of all their food right here on the grounds. It's Annapurna Gardens. It's too far for us to walk today, but just to let you know, they're all vegetarians. They have 5 cows. They milk for paneer and yogurt. They live a very simple life. These little huts back here were donated by a man who came here, was so inspired. He saw the monks sleeping on a piece of plywood with a little screen over it and corrugated iron, and he said that can't be. So he gave up a year of his life, and he came here and he built a lot of these sidewalks, and he built 24 of these little bunkers, and they're all throughout the. So now, if a hurricane comes, like it did in '92, and a tree falls down, we don't lose a monk. And thanks to him and his generosity. So this is the part of the tour where the monks like us to talk about, they say I'll pick 4 beliefs. 4 beliefs, okay. Well, the first major belief in Hinduism, I guess, is that God is all pervasive. The divine is flowing through everything and everyone. Hindus call it Satchidananda or Parashakti. It's just behind this world of appearance. You start to meditate a little bit, you get little glimpses of it. Some of these monks, it's the predominant theme of their life. They see this life force flowing through everything. Eventually you go deeper, you become that force, and it's a unitive experience where I look at you and the energy is the same. It's a very endearing experience, and you know, you've heard of these saints, they have this love for all humanity. It's because they see that it's all one energy flowing through all of us. So all-pervasive God is very, very important to Hindus because creation is emanational. The soul isn't separate from God, like an oak tree when it drops its little acorn. It's not separate from the little acorn. The atomic structure of that acorn, inside that is the potential of the giant oak. So it's a process of maturing. Souls mature through this evolutionary process and become kinder and sweeter and full of love, and then finally you graduate. And so that's the process. Okay. So she tries to keep me somewhere on track. Apologize. I get hung up because I love the philosophy and the experiential part of Hinduism. So, 2 other beliefs, karma and reincarnation, they kind of go hand in hand. You know, when my daughter was 9 years old, I said, honey, I'm going to show you karma. We took a boomerang, we went over, we were living in San Francisco at the time, and we threw this boomerang out over this hill. I practiced before I took her up there, by the way. Got it pretty close back, and I said, honey, that's every time you think a thought, every time you say something to somebody, and everything you do, you're throwing these boomerangs, thousands of them a day, and that's karma. You are powerful, you're connected to everything in the universe, and every time you create, you're creating your future. So that's a simple explanation of karma. It's cause and effect. We're very, very powerful beings, and we're connected to the universe. So that's karma. Reincarnation, my sister always says, well, I don't remember any of my past lives. I like karma, but I don't. And I always say, boy, what a grace that you don't remember. What a blessing. We call that anava in Hinduism. It's spiritual amnesia, and it's a grace. I have met many people that just this one lifetime they need therapy just to handle some of the things they've done in this life. So we all have that. And it's better if we get a fresh start. You know, it's like, okay, forget all that. Let's start a new day. And so that's reincarnation. And then,
no intrinsic evil?
No intrinsic evil. Souls can be unconscious of their divinity, you know. Some souls can really get far out in the world and believe that power and dominating people and taking what they want without any consequences because they don't know the law of karma. And that's actually a natural stage in the evolution of humans. Then they have to face all that, and in that facing of that karma, they grow up to be kind and sweet and gentle. Gurdeva made it very simple. He said, in this plane of existence, there's old souls and young souls. Some are just getting started. Some have been through the process a lot of times, and you can tell the difference once you get to know them. You know, so Dharma. John Lydgate, you know Lydgate Park down here, he's a professor. He comes on this tour occasionally. And we always laugh when that question comes up because if you study Eastern religions, Dharma is a book about that thing. I simplify it by saying it's everything from the pulsation of subatomic particles to the voyage of the stars, and that's Rika Dharma, universal Dharma, right to human Dharma is your high road. It's what you do, how you treat your spouse, how you treat your children, how you treat your neighbor, everything you do and say, your spiritual practices, your Dharma. In Hinduism, your Sanatana Dharma, your truth, would be the highest life you can lead in this life. Now, a young soul and old soul, the standards are going to be different. But I always love to use a mother. During the summer we have mothers with little children. She's living her Dharma, my God. She's getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning. She's taking care of her child. It's our giving, it's the virtue of our life that we all strive to attain some of that. So it's your high road in life, I would say. Any questions on any of that?